They're foods you're eating right now that is keeping you fat. All that effort you're putting in is being completely canceled out, and it's crazy. That's not even the worst part. These 10 foods you're eating right now are marketed to you as healthy, but really, they're not. In 2025, the only worse thing than Big Pharma is Big Food. In 2015, I went from 30% body fat to roughly 12%, and I cut out all of the foods that are behind me. But no matter how hard I tried, I could never get to single-digit body fat because there were still foods that I was eating that were stopping me from losing belly fat. And over the last decade, I've coached thousands of clients, like the ones you're seeing in front of you, and I've compiled the list of the foods that you're probably eating right now that are stopping you from losing belly fat. And not only am I going to share the science behind why, I'm also going to give you healthier alternatives. So I highly recommend that you watch the video till the end, because it even may be that one of the 10 foods that you're eating that is sabotaging all your results. Let's not waste time. Let's dive straight in. So as a reference point, here is ghee as a representation of fat. This is actual fat. And each one of these bowls is 10 grams. So in here is a total of 50 grams of fat, and this usually on average is the total amount of fat I consume to be able to look like this. Not only that, on average, this is what my clients are consuming. And this is a reference point so you can see compared to other foods. On the other hand, we have here 5 grams of sugar. And what we use to estimate if you're insulin sensitive, meaning that when your body has sugar in its bloodstream, that it's utilizing the sugar adequately and efficiently, is what we call your fasting glucose level. Now, this cube of sugar here is the representation actually of a healthy fasting glucose level. It's just about 1 cube of sugar. And I'm gonna show you that comparative to all the 10 foods. So food number 1, this is gonna shock you. Let's talk about Red Bull. Per can, 110 calories, which isn't bad, right? But this is where the problem starts. That 110 calories is pure sugar. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. In every can of Red Bull is 28 grams of sugar to be exact. This is exactly where the problem arises. Now again, as a reference, this is what your fasting glucose level is. And there's 30 grams of sugar in this 1 can of Red Bull. And let's be honest, who's only drinking 1 can of Red Bull? The next question is, what is the most paired drink that comes with Red Bull? Guess in the comments. If you guessed it right, it's its trusty sidekick. A shot of vodka is always paired with a Red Bull. Now, a single shot of vodka or any alcohol doesn't instantly halt fat loss, but it can temporarily slow down your fat burning process because your body prioritizes metabolizing the alcohol before anything else. So your body views alcohol as a toxin and works to metabolize it first. While your liver clears the alcohol, the oxidation of other nutrients like fats and carbohydrates is put on hold. So in simple terms, fat burning is reduced, or if you're having more than 1 shot of vodka, is halted completely. Now, the other issue is the calorie content. Vodka has about 64 calories per shot, and it's not too bad, although 1 shot isn't a huge calorie load. These calories still count. If you're already near your daily caloric limit, adding alcohol could tip you into a surplus, slowing or preventing fat loss completely. The other issue is the hormonal and the appetite effects. Alcohol can increase appetite or reduce your inhibition, leading to overeating. It can disrupt your sleep, which can negatively impact your hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin, recovery, and overall metabolism. It can also have issues with your nutrient partitioning because the body prioritizes alcohol metabolism. The fats and carbs you eat around the same time are more likely to be stored as fat rather than being used immediately for energy. So this is my advice. Number 1, with the Red Bull, if you can, substitute it for a 0 or a no sugar Red Bull or any other energy drink that you're going to have. And another recommendation I always make to all of my clients is give yourself about 1 to 2 weeks with no alcohol so you can see how your body is reacting to your entire dieting process, especially if your main objective is to lose fat. So first, change the regular Red Bull for a sugar-free or any sugar-free energy drink, or go for a Sprite Zero or Coke Zero. You're gonna save yourself on all these sugars. And then on the front of alcohol, I would say limit it to 1 to 2 shots per night. I know that can be difficult, and this is why personally I've just made the decision to cut it out completely. And that's a common finding I see with so many people having 1 to 2 drinks over the weekend and wondering why they're taking 2 steps back. Let's move on into food number 2. Food number 2, peanut butter. 190 calories on a spoon. Let's measure that out. This one spoon here of peanut butter, one serving, is 190 calories. If I have 2 of these spoons, it's going to be equivalent of the fat loss that I was supposed to see that particular day. Now, again, I'm just talking about the 500 calorie deficit that you're supposed to be. So if you just have this, it's 190 calories, but that's not the worst part. In this spoon here is exactly 16 grams of fat. So this is ghee, this is fat. That right there is 12 grams, and that's 17 grams. And the issue arises with peanut butter is that who only really has 1 serving of peanut butter? Maybe you have some for breakfast, and then later in the evening, you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna have another tiny spoon and I'm just gonna lick on it. Look, I just scooped that out, that's 38 grams. And this is also why I wanted to show you is that it's so valuable using a weight scale, is because you'll start to truly have an idea of how much you're actually consuming. And what ends up happening, you have another 16 grams of fat that you're adding. But just in these 2 spoons, I'm almost canceling out all of the fats that I'm supposed to consume. Although, yes, it is great to have peanut butter in your diet, it's just so easy to overeat. It's just like you're basically shopping at Louis Vuitton. So I'm gonna show you a better alternative. You can go for something that has 11 times less fat, and that is going to be PB2. And in this 1 spoon of PB2 is 60 calories, is 190 calories, compared to 60 calories. 1.5 grams of fat, 16 grams of fat. 5 grams of carbs in the PB2, fiber 1 gram, sugars at 2 grams, and protein at 5 grams. Now, you may be asking, okay, Mike, so what's so great about PB2? PB2 achieves its lower fat and calorie content by actually pressing out most of the oils from peanuts. If you mix PB2 with water, and if you want a more creamier taste, you can mix it with a little bit of milk, right? But water will keep the macros as is. It's an amazing spread. I find it very difficult to taste. And if you actually just like really, if you zoom in, the consistency difference is what fats really look like, but you get that peanut butter taste from here. So if you're trying to lose fat, yes, I know bodybuilders market it as healthy. Yes, it's just so easy to overeat. And one of the reasons I don't add this into diets anymore is that you'll be putting in all the effort in the gym, you'll do 15,000 steps, you'll be training hard, you'll be sweating, and you'll make innocent trips to the fridge, innocent trips to the pantry, just 1 little tablespoon of peanut butter, and then you're over 500 calories. Let's move on into food number 3. Food number 3, controversial. Most extra virgin olive oils are bullshit, and I'll tell you why. They're marketed as healthy, but they aren't as healthy as they claim. Now, extra virgin olive oil is covered, and most of them that you're seeing, with seed oils. Some oils have been found to be rancid or oxidized, and you need to make sure that the extra virgin olive oil that you're buying is organic. Make sure it's cold pressed and make sure it's recently harvested. Also make sure that they're in a dark glass bottle, which helps protect the oil from light and preserve its quality. So now that you know how to pick the best olive oil has amazing benefits if you have the right one. But if your main objective is fat loss and you're trying to lose your belly fat, you're eating healthy, you're cooking all your foods with olive oil, this is where the issue arises. Now, most people don't ever measure how much this is, but I'm going to illustrate a point here. So this is 1 serving of olive oil. I'm just gonna pour it here. Typically, this will be what a trained eye will use in one of their meals. Write in the comments what your guess is of how much calories this is in this tablespoon. Now that you've guessed, it's exactly 124 calories. So if you do that 3 times for your meals, that comes out to 372 calories, almost 400 calories, potentially canceling out all of the fat loss that you would have wanted to be able to achieve that day because of the deficit that you established. What I recommend instead is, yes, maybe for the benefits of olive oil, make one of your meals using normal extra virgin olive oil. And I'm not gonna promote this brand specifically. I always recommend utilizing a calorie spray to save yourself on the calories, because if for the purpose of cooking that I just use it on a pan, this all here is equivalent to 0 calories compared to the 124 calories. So this here exactly is olive oil. Now, some may argue that this isn't the best version of olive oil. For the purpose of fat loss, I will save myself 124 calories from just spraying all of this here versus just using this 124 calories. So I highly recommend that you transition to any spray version of your particular olive oil. This way you're not over consuming it and it's a little bit more controlled. Let's call this the easiest way of having a manager in terms of how much oil you're using. And just another suggestion here is 10 grams of ghee. You could literally just put this over your pan slightly and just use a fraction of this. This way you're not using too much fat. So ghee is another animal option, a fat source that you can have with your food. Let's move on into food number 4. Food number 4 is so common, and that is salad dressing, right? So you're eating healthy and you're eating salad, but let me show you what happens so commonly with salad dressing. And I'm gonna show you an effective way, right? So this is ranch dressing. And now the idea is that it's not much, right? But that is going to be, now I've poured too much, but I'm gonna show you guys 2 servings. Okay, that's 28 grams, that's 30 grams, that's 2 servings, right? Right here is equivalent to 100 calories in your salad dressing. So you go from thinking that, hey, this is, very little, I'm not even gonna track my salad, to 30 grams and exactly 100 calories in your salad dressing. So what I recommend instead is that if you're gonna have a salad, rather make it yourself with a bit of salt and a little balsamic vinegar. That's all you need for a good salad dressing. Now, another thing that I like training people on is that instead, have the salad dressing on the side, take your fork and dip a bit into it and then grab the salad that you need to. And this way you save yourself all of this. This is like a little cool hack. You still get the flavor from the salad and then you can eat your salad. So after you have your salad, dip it again and then have the salad again. And that way you save yourself on 100 calories. That's just really unnecessary. So instead of salad dressing, just go for salt, some balsamic vinegar, and when you do go out to eat, ask them to put the salad dressing to the side and just ask them for salt, balsamic vinegar, and that's it. You're good to go for your salad. All right, let's move on into food number 5. Now, the next one is going to be one for the kids. And if you're an adult, you're probably giving your kids Cocoa Pops. We all love Cocoa Pops, but there's also a point I want to make here because this is a common cereal people will have. 1 serving of this Cocoa Pops, let's measure that out. So this here is 30 grams and this is 1 serving, 116 calories. In this is exactly 10 grams of sugar in this serving. And if you're an adult, let's tear that again. That's more like it. This is what I would say a real serving is. You go from 10 grams of sugar per serving to 40 grams of sugar. So basically, you're having 1 bowl of sugar. So what's happening is you have this bowl of cereal for breakfast, you have a glucose spike, a sugar spike, which will result in an insulin spike, right? So that your body can put the glucose and this readily available glucose into the different cells. And what will happen is you'll get a severe crash. And that's why you'll have this come down, you'll feel tired. And if you do this, your brain will be foggy. This is just what I wanted to illustrate to guys. What I highly recommend instead is an oatmeal. Jungle Oats, I'm a big fan of this, right? And this here is 400 calories and this here is 200 calories. Now, to be fair, I'll have 2 servings of this. But what I like is that you'll get so much more volume and also much less sugar that is in your oatmeal, right? Compared to that. And again, you can add a little bit of protein. But if you're giving this to your kids, there's too much sugar, I highly recommend just going for an oatmeal instead. Now, again, I get it, right? We love Cocoa Pops, having a little bit of that. But if you're finding yourself having an energy spike and then your kids are crashing or you're even crashing, this is exactly the reason why. So I also want to say, what are the breakfast cereals that you recommend? Because for me, my go-to is oatmeal. I would love to know in the comments, what is a better alternative? And also what's cool about the oatmeal is you can just get rolled oats and you can add blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, banana, and just add so much more nutritional value. And another thing I absolutely love about having oats in the diet is that it has a lower glycemic index compared to this. So you don't get the sugar crash. And this is much better in terms of going through a fat loss process than this one that has a very, very high glycemic index. And the general rule is the more processed the food is, the less beneficial it will be. So even these ones, you consider a bit more processed compared to like the classic just rolled oats for breakfast. So if you can, just make this substitution, and this is gonna be much better for your fat loss compared to the Cocoa Pops, the granola, the muesli, or any other cereals. Let's move on into food number 6. The next one is something that I gotten by, and that's muesli bars. And the reason for it is it's the marketing. Super berry, cranberry, blueberry, goji, source of fiber, high in whole grain, and I get it, right? This stuff looks healthy, and when you just want a snack and you're deciding to say, you know what, new year, new me, I'm not gonna have the classic Mars bar or any of the other bars, this looks great, right? Like, look at it, this looks fantastic. But in reality, this is a very concentrated 200 calories. And let's say you decide to have 2 of these innocent bars in your day when you've already hit your daily caloric limit, it will cancel out this. And then they'll also come out with their newer version, right? With protein. Just for comparison, that's what the protein one will look like. And they look healthy, right? Appetizing. But if you really look at the labels, there's really no difference. So in this one is 200 calories. In this one is 200 calories. So no real difference between the bars in terms of caloric intake. And if you have one of each, this is 400 calories, nearly 500 calories, canceling out your weight loss for that particular day if you're in a 500 calorie deficit. And the problem is that these are so easy to eat and overeat that's what becomes the problem. Another one that's even better is Barbell. Now they have amazing tasting proteins. This one here has 9 grams of fat, so slightly less, but the high protein one has exactly 9.9. So they nearly have the same amount of fats. This one just has a little bit more protein. Now this bar here is also another 200 calories. When we peel it back, this one has more protein. Per bar, this one has 16 grams of protein. Now the issue that I've seen with protein bars is that we really just don't have one. And this is the main reason why I don't include protein bars in my dieting process at all, because what happens is you'll start dieting with the protein bars and it will be great, right? It's like a good relationship. You're in the honeymoon phase. And then as the calories start coming down, you need to start making very difficult decisions about, okay, what foods am I gonna substitute? And the compactness and the nutritional value and the satiety you receive from any of these bars just isn't there. So this is my recommendation. If you can, rather have blueberries, strawberries, or kiwi, any fruit instead of this. It'll give you the same sweetness that you're after without the addiction that you'll usually get from eating 1 to 2 bars, because I'm telling you, it is a slippery slope. I just find that it makes my entire process of just losing belly fat and losing weight in general so much more difficult. And 2, 4, 6 fat loss is gone. My mouth is watering. Let's move on into the next one. The next one is gonna shock you. Teriyaki beef jerky. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard beef jerky is amazing for fat loss, right? And here's 50 grams, but let me read out the macros. Protein is 17 grams, right? Which is fine, right? I don't have any issue with that. But if you look at the back, you're like, carbohydrates 13 grams, like where? Why is there 13 grams of carbs? And it gets worse. Here is exactly, out of the 13 grams of carbs, 12 of those is sugar. 10, 15 grams of sugar that you have in just the 15 grams of beef jerky, and that's why they taste really good. Now again, they're always branded as 17 grams of protein per 50 grams, but in reality, you could just have a steak, like a good cut steak, instead of this particular snack. And I don't like that there is 12 grams of sugar. The company Jacqueline's has added some sugar here to make it a bit sweeter, to make it just taste a little bit better. So what will happen is you're on the road, you're on the go, you've heard that beef jerky is amazing, but you're eating just 13 grams of sugar in a place that you think has 0 sugar. What you should do instead is go to the same brand and get biltong. Right? So in here, 45 grams exactly. And let me give you the macros of this 45 grams. Now, when you look at it, you can actually start to see both the same brand, but you can save yourself on the unnecessary sugars that is in the beef jerky and get the biltong instead. So in this one here, we have exactly 105 calories, which is 1.3 grams of carbs compared to the 13 grams of carbs. So this one has 13 times more carbs and sugar compared to the biltong. And this one actually has more protein. This here is 21 grams of protein compared to this, which is only 17. So why I wanted to show you this is that it is very easy to have these carbs being sneakily pushed past you. It's being promoted as 17 grams of protein, but this one in reality is much better. But people would probably eat this one more because it's a bit sweeter, tastes a little bit nicer, and that's just because they've added so much more junk onto this one. But biltong is the better option. Develop the skill of really looking behind and turning it around and then just comparing, and you'll find a better alternative, right? So go for the chili biltong, skip out on the beef jerky. Move on to the next. Coke. And I've had clients come to me and they're like, I need to have a Coke in my diet. But look, again, fasting glucose level in this Coca-Cola is 150 calories, but this is the issue, is the 39 grams of sugar that's in there. So let me show you what that is. 5, 10, 15, 25, 35, and then let's call it here 39. So in this drink that you'll have in just 2 minutes that you'll drink completely, you're gonna consume nearly 40 grams of sugar, when you can consume literally 0. Now again, I'm gonna give you an even better alternative. The Coke Zero has the aspartame, the artificial sweeteners, but in the context of the video, which is the main subject is fat loss, this is gonna win all the time. And I get it all the time from clients who join. They're like, my wife says I can't have any of this. This is gonna make me gain weight. In terms of caloric value, you can have as many of this as you want. And you can maybe even have 40 cans of this before it starts having a negative impact on your health with a Coke Zero. But in terms of gut microbiota and gut health, I would actually recommend going for something like a sparkling water instead. And this is something that I like doing. I stopped the Coke regular. I don't remember what regular Coke tastes like. And honestly, and let me know in the comments, can you taste, maybe in America, but can you really taste the difference between regular Coke and Coke Zero? So I've actually stopped drinking this. And what I do is this combination. This is the greatest thing that has been invented for my fat loss. So it's apple and blackcurrant Robinson, and it's a water enhancer. So basically, I drink this, I just drink a bit and then I mix it with this, and I'm just having an apple blackcurrant drink, and it's 0 calories. And also at the same time, I'm consuming all the water that I'm supposed to, right? I might get the question all the time, hey Dr. Mike, how much water should I drink? Always your body weight in half in fluid ounces. So if you're 200 pounds, you should drink about 100 fluid ounces, which is about 0.8 gallons. You can drink a gallon to be safe, right? A gallon a day keeps the doctor away, but this is the combination I'll go for. But if you're at a restaurant, if you don't have any other alternative, go for this. This is fine. You can have 5 of these cans. In terms of fat loss, there's no issue. I like Sprite. Another thing, when I first did my first transformation that I talked about in the beginning of the video, I was actually drinking like 2 liters of Coke before going to bed. And I always wondered why it took me so long to fall asleep, and I was falling asleep at 3 a.m. Be careful of the caffeine content in both Cokes. There's caffeine in these, and they're quite sneaky about it. So this is a better alternative. And I just find people stupid who still drink regular Coke and then complain about the taste, and then they still wonder why they're fat. Moving on, rant over. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 is going to be special in the sense that I don't want you to cut out any of these foods, but making a difference, and I'm going to show you how to make a better version. So here we have chicken thigh, and here we have chicken breast. Now, chicken thigh is preferable. It's more juicy, it tastes amazing, but this is the big difference, right? So in a chicken breast, per 100 grams, it's 165 calories, 31 grams of protein, compared to chicken thigh at 100 grams is 26 grams of protein, right? So you have a little less protein in here. Now, both 0 carbs. Now with chicken thigh with the skin in the chicken thigh and in any chicken is where most of the fat is held. The big difference here is that there is 10 and there is 15 grams of fat in the chicken thigh compared to the chicken breast. This is about the fat difference between chicken thigh and chicken breast. Now this will be a lot more juicier, but that's only worth 100 grams. If you have just enough of the chicken thighs, it's gonna cancel out all the fat content that you can really eat compared to the chicken breast. The chicken breast is just gonna give you so much bang for buck. Now, for those of you that are like, hey, the chicken breast is so dry, this is gonna be a game changer for you. Marinate your chicken breast. Don't put it in a pan. Don't put it in the oven, put it in the air fryer. It is a game changer. The air fryer keeps the moisture of the chicken breast. It doesn't go dry, and honestly, you cannot tell the difference between skinless chicken thigh and chicken breast when they're both prepared in the air fryer. And the same goes for the cuts of steak. Make sure that you're going for sirloin, topside, anything ending in oin, and even tenderloin. Those are all amazing cuts. And be careful of the higher fat cuts. And the way I like looking at the steaks is if I see a lot of marbling, right, a lot of streaks, if it looks like marble, then it's usually higher fat, and you can taste it. Usually leaner steaks are a bit drier, so always pay attention to that. I would always go for the chicken breast in terms of getting good flavor, and you can make amazing flavored ones. You know what? I'm actually gonna link one of my popular videos that shows you different recipes that I've prepared using chicken breast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, this whole video will show you how to make your macros, how to train, how to build your own recipes. You can watch that video, but in there is also a recipe book that you can get a hold of. But chicken breast over chicken thighs. Let's go on to the final one. Protein shakes. This one is Popular Barbell. The other one is Fairlife. Now, this one is unique, and why I've put it last is that I don't want you to necessarily cut it out. But when you get to a point where you're like at about 2,000 calories for fat loss, you don't want to be drinking your calories. And this is the Barbell. Fairlife is another one where there's 42 grams of protein. I usually recommend these to my clients when they're on the go under unique circumstances. But I would always recommend, if you're eating less calories, to rather eat and masticate your food versus drinking it, because you're just gonna feel so much more fuller by this. This is already pre-digested, it's broken down, your body will assimilate the protein easily. But this is amazing for your body in the sense of the thermic effect of food, the energy your body's gonna take digesting this, and you're just gonna feel so much more fuller having a chicken breast worth 24 grams of protein compared to drinking a shake. So I wanted to share this with as the hard truth. If you're struggling to lose weight, you're still drinking shakes, and you're hungry and you're starving, it is time to make a more intelligent decision and focus on the quantity and quality of your food, right? So basically you need to start budgeting a lot better and just go for the chicken breast instead. And that's what I wanted to share. And it's a common pitfall I see with a lot of my clients is that they'll be in a position where they have 3,000 calories or 2,700, and it's a lot of food to eat, and will have a shake just so that they can manage the intake. But when you get to lower calories, you're a little hungrier, and we need to start substituting out the shakes. It's a hard decision to make, but it's better to always eat your calories versus drinking them. And I'll leave the video there. Let me know in the comments, do you agree? Do you disagree? Which are the mistakes you've seen? And I'll probably include it into the next video. That'll be helpful. But this video right here is the one I was telling you about that shows you how to calculate your calories, building and executing your own meal plan. And I even have a 21 recipe book in there for you. So you literally have no excuses not to win this year. I will see you in the next one.